Hey guys, I'm learning TFT. In this video, I'm going to go through a trait tracker game where I VOD reviewed with Marcel in a coaching lesson. And I am experimenting with a new approach here where I'm going to talk through some of the key concepts of the VOD. I'll talk through the idea of the day and then dive into the VOD. So one question I'd pose for you here, if you ever cash out Trade Tracker, is what's your order of operations in what to determine what to do the turn after you cash out of your Trade Tracker? Since there's so many things that you can be doing, especially if you haven't even hit level 8 yet, you could be deciding whether you want to push levels, you want to sell your board to clean up your bench, you want to select which emblem you want to focus on. Maybe you haven't even slammed your items so you could stay flexible. There's a lot of different things that you can do. And in this video, and I'll include timestamps in the description below if you want to skip ahead. In this video, Marcel and I do a really detailed analysis of what is the order of operations and how to approach this. So one of the key ideas here is that you want to figure out your emblems first and eliminate your non-options. So for example, with Rebel, it really relies on playing Vertical Rebel, having a Jinx as a cap out situation. You need Shojin and IE for that to work, and I don't have Shojin. I don't have Rebel Angle, so you can eliminate that. Twitch would have been an option with Experiment and Sniper here, but you'll see in the game that Twitch is highly contested, and I don't have a Rage Blade or a red buff, so that can be process of elimination. Automata is much better if you're playing 6 Automata, which is not the case here. And so from that process of elimination, you can play around Enforcer, which is just very strong right now, and Ambusher, since Camille plays around Ambusher as well. And you can play around Echo. If you hit a Jinx, you can hit that. And so that's one way of approaching this analysis. Whereas what I did in the game, and you'll see later, is I just saw Sniper with Mord, because I've seen that that's good in the stats, and I tunneled on that too much. And so that's just one example of what we'll talk about in the game. The other thing is that with Trade Tracker, vertical scrap is extremely strong just as a floor if you're not sure what to play, since you get 50 shield per component, and when you cash out 6 emblems, that's 12 components equivalent to a 600 shield, which is very valuable. The other thing is that there's a Trade Tracker guide here, and I'll provide links to all of this in the description. If I forget, let me know. But this is like kind of the core you want to play around to cash out Trade Tracker. So if you're already playing Conqueror or maybe Scrap around Gangplank in the mid game, then especially if you're playing Scrap, actually, since we just said that Scrap benefits a lot from this, that Trade Tracker can actually be quite a good play. Last set we saw that, I forget which, it was like there was one trait that specifically benefited a lot from Trade Tracker from last set, and in this set I believe that is Scrap. They did modify it from this set where you need 8 traits now, but it's still pretty straightforward to hit, and there's like a spreadsheet here that helps you figure out which, or I guess it's a guide that shows you which ones to cash out. But one of the simplest is this board right here, where you have these 4 as your core, since you have 2 units that have 3 traits, and then you throw in Steb, Trundle, and Maddie. And this actually helps you preserve down the scrap angle. But yeah, that's one way that you can approach it on Trade Tracker. So I'll provide links to the timestamp below. I'm going to talk about the idea of the day now. If you want to jump straight to the VOD, go ahead and look at the description. So idea of the day, I actually want to first start with some viewer comments related to the idea of the day. So the Hood, or the Odd, said, just want to say I was initially just smirking and eternally making fun of you for talking about those things in the beginning since it's a TFT video. But after listening to you talk, I found that a lot of what you said was really insightful and gave me a new perspective on life and my life situation. Thank you for taking the time to share these things. Cheers. And this was from my last video, by the way. And related to that, someone said, cut to the chase, lol, too much unnecessary nonsense stuff. And this, and again, if you don't like these talks, jump to the timestamp in the description. But this is related to what I want to talk about, which is how to consider new perspectives and taking a beginner's mindset, not just for the ideas that I'm sharing here, but also in a TFT game, because you might go on autopilot and, like, for example, in this here, I just assume like, oh, sniper, Mord. I just tunneled in on that too much. And so when you come to a default perspective on what is true and what is not, what is good and what is bad, if you don't at least consider that your perspective may not be the best one, that there may be alternate viewpoints, that like, hey, maybe this information could be useful if you actually gave it a shot. These ideas could be useful for you, whether that's for TFT or life. If you already assume it's unnecessary nonsense and you don't give it a shot, then of course it's not going to be useful to you. Zolron, one of the viewers that messaged me, said that dish soap has a way to disable autopilot and consider new perspectives. And one of the ways to do that is to ask yourself constantly, what is an alternate decision that you can make here? What if my perspective isn't the best one? What else can I do here? And you can extend this to say, what else can I do? If I do this, what's my plan the next turn? If I do that, what's my plan the next turn? And this is also relevant in chess. This is one thing I was trying to teach my son, because he's starting to go to chess tournaments, is instead of rushing to make the first decision, always ask yourself, what's the next best move I can think of? And then compare that move to the current move that you have decided is the best one, and think about what the pros and cons of each of those decisions are. And so when you are able to approach the game from that perspective, it really allows you to open your mind to consider alternate perspectives and decisions that you wouldn't have made otherwise. And so related to that, I really want to talk about this idea of beginner's mindset, which I believe is extremely valuable for you to approach life with, but also to approach TFT with, and it will help you become a much better TFT player. So Shakespeare said, "The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool." Shunryu Suzuki said, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's, there are few." And this is a book on negotiation, which is still relevant here. Great negotiators are able to question the assumptions that the rest of the involved players accept on faith or in arrogance, and thus remain more emotionally open to all possibilities and more intellectually agile to a fluid situation. They continue to say, "Don't commit to assumptions. Instead, view them as hypotheses and use the negotiation to test them rigorously." So you can view a TFT game as almost an internal negotiation where you have assumptions that you want to test, assumptions and hypotheses that you want to test, which if you watch a fight closely and see how it plays out, that's the way to test it. And we can see how these ideas kind of relate to Dish Soap's point about disabling autopilot. And I'm very guilty of this too, still learning how to disable that autopilot. But the more we can turn off autopilot, the more we can critically think and consider different perspectives, ideas, and decisions, the more we can open up our game and improve as a player. So this blog also had a very similar idea. It's kind of blurry. Let me pull it up here, which is that a lot of the times when you're a beginner, you actually know nothing. So you say, so what you think you know, the yellow line matches what the green line, which is what you actually know. And then as you get better, your yellow line, how much you think you know, goes to really high and you think you're really good, but what you actually know is still quite low. And it's when you actually become an expert that you get to the point where, like, hey, what I actually know is more than what I knew before. But how much I think I know actually starts to converge on what I actually know. And that's when you truly realize how much you don't know, and that's the green line. And so when you are able to inhabit a beginner's mindset, you are then able to actually bridge that gap between understanding blue versus green, how big of a gap there is. And so this goes back to Dish Soap's point and why a lot of top players like Dish Soap, Setsuko, etc. They always say like I suck, like oh, like I made the wrong decision, like what else could I have done, right? And so much of that goes back to this chart in realizing the gap between how much you know and how much you don't know. And a large part of that is being humble, right? Considering alternate viewpoints. And the odd actually gave it a shot. Like the odd actually took a beginner's mindset for a moment to say like, hey, is this actually useful information? And can I actually gain more knowledge from this than I thought I knew from before? So with that said, I'm going to jump straight into the video now. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video up to this point, as well as through the rest of the video. I'll also include timestamps in the description below if you want to jump straight to the analysis of this trade tracker decision point. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And here is the VOD. Started just checking Academy at the beginning of each fight. Is that like something you do, or do you mainly?
Yeah, beginning of every game, yeah, exactly. I definitely do that. Especially because right now I feel like it's on the border of it's playable but not amazing, and so I feel like I lean into it only really when the items line up with something really good, or my item drops, and or my early shops, and maybe like a Pandora's or something like that. Yeah, I like the holds here. Everything but the violet. Yeah, I'd make sure to hold the ergot here. Let's see, what can you sell?
Sell.
This is okay. I kind of
sell
like
the Sorks.
It looks like you held the Zyra. I kind of like holding because of how good ambushers are now, and because you have Scrap Bruiser here with Trundle. I kind of like holding one powder. But I don't mind that. I don't mind everything. You bought the Ergot, right? I think you sold the Bruisers to buy the Ergot. Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think I sold the Sorks.
You don't have that much time, so it's fine.
So who would you sell here then to pick up Ergot and powder?
It would be Violet, Lux, Zyra, and Steb.
Okay, so you buy the powder pair.
Actually, probably not. No. Sorry. Yeah, you just buy one. I think you just sell. I think yeah, you just sell the Zyra, the Lux, and the Violet. Yeah, I'd rather just hold a Bruiser pair. I think because you have no frontline 2-star just yet. Yeah, obviously, like this is all like with 1 second left, right? So like, this is what I'd like to do, in hindsight. But I mean, would I have done this in game? I mean, maybe not.
Okay. So I have the 2-star Raven.
The portal is Victor here, I think, right?
Yes, I think so. I could be wrong about that. I'm be sure, yeah. So I think I have Darius pair, right? I forget.
Yeah,
maybe not. A Mumu pair, okay. So I feel like this falls in that category we've discussed before, where I'm like close to being really strong if I can get some type of frontline 2-star.
Yeah.
I don't really have. I mean, I guess the best slam I have right now, given that I have a Draven 2, is Even Shroud Open Bow.
Yeah.
I could do 2-trick and like try to tempo off of it with Conqueror or Thorn Plated Armor. I feel like Academy. I think when I checked Academy, it was Shojin. Which if I already have like the Draven, I feel like I want to play around the Conqueror right now.
Yeah, I'm down to roll left. I think Stormplate is easily strongest here. I think 2-trick you can probably high roll into something that like, okay, what would be a 2-trick that is stronger than Thornplate? Because I feel like a 1-star unit with double item is going to be stronger than a 2-star unit with 1 item, in my mind. And you also have a Mumu pair.
Yeah, like Urgot could go into like Urgot reroll, although I don't have great items yet. Or like
I think two trick. I'd be kind of scared to go into Urgot because
you want combat or items.
yeah, you kind of want combat, and then I guess you could, but you probably slam this even shot if you're taking two trick, right? Or Runans. You're slamming something. If you're taking two trick. I mean, you're slamming something regardless if you thorn plated, but I feel like yeah, I would roll left here and then just see first, I guess. I assume you do the same. Yeah, and I think second two is just way better than one, so I would never take one.
Like trying to scout to see how likely I could streak with Conquer.
Yeah, the lobby looks like a medium strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I like middle. I mean, it works out, but I think regardless of whether you hit this Amumu or not, I've seen people do it and I've done it, and I don't think you feel bad about having Amumu one hold these items. This thing is just so broken. Especially Bramble is very good now. People are really trying to lean more AD. And so I think Bramble became quite a good item this patch.
Yeah, with all the melee and twitches.
Yeah.
Scrap.
Probably hold Tristana here, right? Their next best in.
Yeah. So here, as far as direction, it's like it could be vertical conquerors if I can somehow streak and hit the like Swain and Rel. I could go towards Twitch and possibly Corky.
Yeah, it's it's much easier to play Twitch from this spot, I would say, but you're thinking of removing. Yeah, I think it's better. You can argue that if you get Automata, that maybe the Umu becomes better again, but I mean, I think right now this is stronger. Yeah, I mean, I think these are all the correct holds. You're not even last pick. I don't recall on this scout what we saw, but I don't mind just taking Rage Blade here if you get the option.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easily your best item. No Rage Blade. Probably glove. Yeah, probably glove, and then
for IE later.
Yeah.
This guy probably there's the sniper's focus guy. Well, I guess that's probably a Nocturne.
I think they were playing. Yeah, the thing is, there's a quick striker, and so I would think quick striker tower defense. So I would think that the sniper guy sees that and is less likely to just stick with Nocturne here, even though I feel like he should with sniper's focus. Yeah. There's a chance he gets baited into playing like Twitch or something with I don't know, or some other sniper line.
There was also someone else that slammed rebuff, so it feels like Twitch is going to be at least one or two ways.
Yeah.
Tested.
Shouldn't affect the way the current game is going too much though, given we're just playing strongest right for a while. Could affect like what do you want to hold here. There's a mat. I'd be kind of scared of the Maddies. It's not that easy to guarantee you don't get sniped, but well done here. You're blocked. I probably hold the Trundle pair. There's maybe some long shot of playing Scrap.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was like trying to hold for like possibly for Watcher, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine as well. I think that's fine.
Okay. Then I kept on changing my mind.
Oh, you're holding for Automata.
And if
I really don't like the Emissary line, but like maybe if you're like so far ahead, you could play Emissary here.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of it. You also could still 6 Enforcer here, but it's kind of far. You would have had to been holding a lot of these units along the way. And these item drops are disgusting. I
go towards Zeri.
Really trying to win streak here. I don't know if I agree with these slams.
Oh,
I feel
TG.
I feel like I would just go with I make the IE less whisper. Like
I
this.
already have even shroud though.
Oh, I'm blind. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, this is definitely correct then. Oops.
Do you make 10 here, or you hold the scar pair since I'm streaking?
I would probably hold. I would probably sell personally, but I think it's fine to hold. I don't think it's wrong. It's 1 gold and like you definitely play it if you hit it.
All right. So
Why are we getting offered betrayal here? Oh, I guess conqueror.
Trail's like not horrible here, right? It's like not great either. If I had held the enforcer lines, that seemed like betrayal's pretty good if you were going 6 enforcer, right?
Yeah, it's takeable here, but I definitely would just roll that. I think shop glitch 3-2 is never takeable.
Yeah.
But yeah, betrayal I've seen do well. Stats don't seem to hate it. These items are reasonably good on Maddie, like backline 80 items. I don't know if I truly take because you don't have any of the enforcer units.
Yeah.
No Maddie, no excess Maddies.
I do have conquerors though, which could let me just play vertical conquerors as well.
I've seen that played as well, and actually I've seen it do okay. So I don't hate it. I think trade tracker is hard to take when you don't have GP Swain. You could, but without GP Swain already, you have to roll for them. It's especially your win streaking. It's kind of. I mean, you could argue that you're win streaking, so you have so much HP to burn that you could just take this and play. From what I know, trade tracker with scrap is busted because you get so many. It gives you such an insane shield. So it is potentially correct to roll right here, and you just play trade tracker into 6 scrap.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you have quirky items, right? But you have quirky items, and your gloves can do well on Echo. Glove is pretty good in scrap, but I'll be honest, I have not played trade tracker much this set, so I'm not that great at procking it quickly.
Okay. I did not identify the scrap line though. I've seen other people do scrap really well, and because I had 0 scrap, I was like kind of just like, oh, I'll see what I cash out and then go from there. But I probably should have been holding the scrap items or the scrap units.
Yeah, it just makes it. I mean, obviously, if you get trash emblems for scrap, then you pivot into something else. But there are a lot of +1s in the line, and at the very least, like if all of them have no direction, you at least are already holding stuff to give you direction, and you like here it looks like you're holding things towards like the emissary line. But I feel like I wouldn't think that you're likely to get really good combos with emissary.
Oh, I think for trade tracker, someone did analysis and Swain, Nami.
Oh, sorry,
GP,
yeah, you're holding something.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I was just commenting that I don't know if emissary is very good for it, but at the same time, yes, you definitely want to be holding these. I think Trundle also makes some of these boards for trade tracker.
Yeah,
GP Swain, any emissary unit. So, yeah, it's hard to sell any of these guys. You just want to hold a lot of stuff, right? So you can proc your trade tracker ASAP.
I want like another tank item, like a vest or like a red buff. Lodge, I guess.
I'm more on the side of wanting backline here. I think definitely strongest is to complete the steadfast, but I would be thinking here the best item is bow for anti-heal.
Yeah.
And then now I'm torn between taking belt and chain, I think. Belt can be
Heartbreaker.
Yeah, chain can be steadfast. The thing with completing a 3-item tank here is that you're gonna have to commit to duo tank, which I feel like is a lot worse than duo backliner in almost every line.
So you take cloak over vest and go runons or USS?
Well, now that it's between cloak and chain. I'm kind of down for chain.
Okay,
Because cloak
yeah.
is kind of bad. You could make USS. Actually, you could make USS.
Although, given that I'm
I've heard
streaking
arguments
so
USS
much and I'm trying to get more conqueror stacks.
Yeah. So I think it's. Oh, do you have a 4 conqueror? You do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can easily get to the next cash out. Yeah,
So-
you can just make this here down.
You're making steadfast, right? Just to
Yeah,
streak.
I would probably wait.
Oh
but,
yeah,
I mean,
we've
you're
talked
probably
about that
making it
before.
regardless. You're probably making it regardless. What a weird board from this guy.
Yeah, I think I actually lose this.
It's because the step didn't really aggro your main tank, but at the same time, I don't think you win regardless.
Yeah. Experiment step.
Garrett.
Is there a way to fit Garen in here?
You'd have to sell that. You'd have to get out of the Tristana, right? I mean, you could, but the Garrett's no longer as good if he doesn't have Emissary and you already have all this front line.
Yeah.
I think this is the strongest board. You're kind of lacking backline damage just with your items, but like, I mean, it's 3-6. You have 91 HP. It's fine.
The problem is I wanted a step for this cash out, and that guy had a 3-star step already.
Oh, step sort of makes the board work. Vlad usually makes the board right for tracker.
Yeah, I think this is a. Okay, Vlad and go with like a Sork. But you already have a Swain and Nami for Sork, right?
Oh yeah. I would just hold it just in case there's another board that can make it. But yeah, it's easier to just think about this board, I guess. GP, nice.
At this point, I'm like, that Steb and Trundle are elusive, so I'm just gonna go 8 to try to cash this out.
Yeah, I would definitely go 8. There's no way I'm trying to roll here and then just like yeah. I'm not the best trade tracker player. I would just futz with double Bramble's good here. You'd probably just double Bramble same unit and then even shroud some secondary tank.
Okay.
I mean, left is an insta roll. Middle is basically, unless you're willing to go back. You're definitely not playing carry from here. So
yeah. So and coordination makes it so much easier to cash out.
Yeah, I mean it has to be coordination. I imagine you're also lacking a backline item. I mean, Wooble is so good with scrap, but given you're lacking backline, and this makes it easier to cash. Yeah, it's very likely coordination. We need one more trade. Yeah, you got it. Twitch is dead this game, right? You can't Twitch. We know for sure.
No bows.
People play it. Also no bows, yeah.
Yeah, and this guy's already there.
Corki or Jace. Probably hold Ezreal, I think. Just for like.
So you would just lose Econ?
You already have Artillerist, I guess. For the Blitz, but I don't care about Blitz that much here.
Oh, okay. I was thinking I could play around the Mordekaiser possibly, in which case I might want the Dominator.
You don't really care about Dom that much if you're just playing Mord, but.
Oh, okay. Because he doesn't cast that much.
Yeah, he usually plays one and done. Right? It's just a little bit of a shield.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's fine not holding as well. And ideally it's enforced here, but it's just so hard to get to it.
Yeah, here I'm just like super dizzy as to what to play. The only thing that popped into my head is Sniper Mord.
I mean, given your current board, but you just have no moored items. Um. Oh.
I have 2 experiments. So I guess Twitch would have been okay if I had bows, but all the
Twitch
Twitches are
is so
gone.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twitch is
Go
it's so hard.
enforcers, but uh,
You basically need 5 costs for this to work. You need Jinx or you don't even have Shojin. You need Jinx or Caitlyn, basically. Assuming you can't play Twitch. Oh yeah, I'd be super lost here.
okay. Glad it wasn't just me.
Yeah. Okay. As I'm looking at this, actually, it's just enforcer, right? You have Vi, you have TF, you have Loris. Yeah. You have Vi, you have TF, you have Loris. You just have to find Maddie and Camille, and you'll have Ambusher, Enforcer, Sniper. Yeah. And you find a Caitlyn, you basically won. Actually, I'm down for this. Okay, never mind. As I look at this a little more closely, I mean, I don't know. I think I would have thought of it in game, but I'm pretty sure Enforcer here is insane. Bramble is really, really good on Vi, especially this Bramble, the special Bramble.
Okay, so I'm just going for 8 enforcer.
Yeah, I would just like slowly pivot my board towards 8 Enforcer.
Can you somehow leverage the rebel? Alawi?
It would have to be like
Jinx?
Jinx Alawi. But I don't know how much I'd care about that because you're so far from Shojin, which is basically mandatory on Jinx. Yeah, I would be focused on trying to. I mean, I would click them if I found them, but I would be trying to just find the Enforcer units.
So then right here, how are you thinking about pivoting this? Like roll down and just click enforcer units?
So I would first like think, how do I fit the Vi on this? Like the Nunu is dead, right? So I put the Vi in for Nunu, and then from there you can drop the GP and this. Oh, yeah, I think the best way to go about this is look at your board. What are the least impactful units? I need to get better at this myself, actually. So this is also a useful exercise for me. So looking at this current board, what are the units that are hard to drop? Units that are easy to drop, right? There are 3 things. What units do you want to move into? So those are enforcer units. What units are easy to drop? What units are hard to drop? I would say hard to drops are just in terms of what your board needs, right? And so I would say the Scar is hard to drop, 2-star unit, right? 2-star unit holding your tank items. The Loris is easy to drop, but you don't want to drop him because he's a enforcer. So easy to drops here are Urgot, Nunu, GP, and Swain. If you want to make it, and you know for sure none of them are making your board, right? Eventually, and they don't really contribute to your board all that much. They contributed to your trait tracker, but I think if you wanted to make this easy for yourself, you literally open tell those 4 units.
Vi wants to keep a pit fighter with her though, right?
She doesn't really need it. 2 pit fighter is like not that impactful.
Urgot also pairs with the Tristana, assuming we don't sell the Tristana.
Yeah, so then in that case, you could just sell the GP and the Swain. GP Swain
Nunu. So it'd be the Vi TF. Even take out the Darius for the. Oh wait, never mind. I was gonna say
he doesn't give you Watcher for your main tank, but like I think the easiest thing to be you sell those 3 units, you put in the Vi, put in the TF, and then you put the Enforcer. I would start putting emblems on stuff, and then at that point you do the exact same assessment. You look at the board, what are the weakest units at that point. It makes it a little easier, I think, to like do it
incrementally. Okay.
Yeah, and then you probably like at that point the turn's almost ending. So okay, and then you get an item, and the next turn you do the same thing, and then you can roll, right?
I also get dizzy like figuring out who to place the emblems on.
Yeah, I think when you are just proccing it, I think putting it on all the shitter units, like here, I think dumping them all in Rel and Darius, assuming you're keeping both on the board, is probably best.
Okay.
And then eventually, that way you at least are leveraging whatever you have, and then it's easy to sell them. Right? Whereas I think putting them on some of your units you might keep will make it very challenging because then you're going to need all these removers, which you don't have.
And ideally, you put all of the emblems that you find immediately useful on like let's say rel here, so like the enforcer and ambusher, and then put all the ones that you don't immediately get value on Darius in case you get
Yeah. I think that's another level optimization that you should do. I didn't even mention that, but you should be doing that for sure.
Okay. And the other thing is on a roll down here, I'm actually also close to 4 emissary, so I could do 4 emissary, like 4 enforcer or something
Yeah, for
in
sure.
the midterm.
It could definitely fit somewhere on the board. I don't know how good that would be end game, but like it could fit for sure for like in the interim as you're gradually transitioning. I don't think that you'd want to end on that, but I mean you could if you found Corky 2, Mbessa 2, Garen 2, then sure, then you're probably playing that if you hit because you don't have that much gold, right? So like you're probably rolling after you sell everything, you're probably rolling like 50, and so you're not guaranteed to like 2-star anything you want.
Also, in another world, if I had held all of the early game scrap units like Trundle, Ziggs, etc., like could it still be worth going into scrap even if like most of these emblems are kind of worthless on scrap, but just the pure shield value is like I'm just wondering at what point is it assuming I had kept all of the scrap units, the trade-off between scrap versus enforcer here.
I think you would lack DPS is the issue. I think scrap was appealing.
Do you have an ambusher with the echo? But that's pretty much
It's
it.
less to do with that. It has more to do with that you have so many frontline items. Like scrap typically doesn't want the moment we started dropping all these chains, the scrap line started becoming less appealing. When we took a chain, we dropped double chain, so then it's like, what are we doing with all these tank items? So they literally don't go on anyone. They don't go on Echo. They don't go on like they go on like Elise or Laui, who are not even scrap.
Mm-hmm.
And they go on Rumble, who doesn't even really want them. He wants straight AP, right? So I think initially when you were just Bramble and Even Shroud, like okay, scrap with a bunch of shield sounds fine. These 2 tank items could go on just whoever, and maybe Rumble, maybe there's someone. But then eventually, with the chains, it's not worth playing in my mind anymore. You'll lack so much DPS. Whereas I think Vi doesn't even really need that much damage, and Enforcer gives so much AS.
Okay. And so I know that you eventually got to Enforcer as the line to take. What was like, given that I have 25 seconds from this spot, like what do you think is the quickest heuristic to come to that conclusion?
Quickest heuristic.
Like are you kind of, in my mind, maybe it's like just if I had a chart available, or ideally I would have this memorized, but like just sort by emblem AVP and just like work down the list and find that like, okay, well, experiments I'm referencing this right now, but experiments 3.7, automatas 3.9, enforcers 3.95, rebels 4.0, but like the 3 traits are much harder to fit in, so then kind of eliminating experiment and rebel, so then you're kind of left with enforcer and automata, and like kind of I have no automata, so then enforcer makes sense as the starting point, or like did you have another way of coming to that conclusion?
Yeah, the way I came to the conclusion was it's a mix of a bunch of things, right? One is we already saw experiment is dead, right? Because you can't play Twitch, because we just faced 4-1 and 4-2, like there are like a million Twitches out. Your odds of hitting Twitch is almost 0, right? The 2-star Twitch.
Yeah.
So at that point, experiment, if you're not playing Twitch, experiment is almost certainly not worth playing around, right?
If let's say
it's certainly not worth playing.
Right, but let's say that Twitch wasn't so contested, and if Twitch wasn't contested, would you pick Twitch then over Enforcer line here?
We have a bow, right? So I would consider it, assuming we get Rod on Caro. Like you could.
But then would you not do a roll down here?
I would probably honestly like. I feel like 25 seconds. I'd be fixing some of the board. I'd probably only be able to roll. I'd probably only be able to roll like 10 seconds worth, because I feel like there's a lot to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure I'd be able to roll all my gold here anyway.
Okay, so order of operations, figure out best emblems, then incrementally replace shitters on the board. And then,
I think so.
And then from there, figure. Actually, maybe even the first step you said was first replace the shitters and then figure out which emblems.
I don't know about that because shitters. There are three things, right? We want to. What are the shitters? What are the units that are bad but we want to keep? And that second category is dependent on what elements you want to play towards.
Okay.
And so I don't think you can very easily categorize units as easy sell versus hard sell if you don't know what you're playing towards. I think the first thing is you look at the emblem. And to go back to what you're asking, like, how do we decide which emblems are best to play around? I think you have to think of the emblems very tangibly. So when is Rebel Emblem good? Rebel Emblem is only good when you have a good shot of getting to Jinx and you have Jinx items. That's basically the only scenario in Rebel Emblem being good. There's literally nothing else. Rebel is literally just a Jinx and 3-item Jinx comp, and that's it. And right now, we don't have a sword, don't have a tier, and we're not rich enough to find Jinx. So in my mind, Rebel is dead. And then Experiment, Twitch is contested, Experiment's dead. Automata, we're not playing 6 Automata, Automata is dead. So now we're just looking at Enforcer, Ambusher, Sniper, and at that point it's obvious. Yeah. And what makes it more obvious is you just look at your bench, right? You have look at your bench and shop. You have a Vi, you have TF, and you have Loris. So like the combo, obviously just those 3 units, not even paired, is like obviously that's not screaming at you, Enforcer. But the fact that Rebel is dead, unless we randomly spawn a Shojin on 4 or 7, Experiment is dead and the Automata is dead, means in my mind it's pretty clearly Enforcer here.
Okay, that makes sense.
But pretty clear as I'm speaking in a VOD review. Not as I'm playing, but like, yeah, if you don't go for that line, it's fine. Like I'm not trying to crucify you for that if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I was just completely lost here, so.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look at your shops, like in the scenario that you did decide to play Enforcer, would it have even worked out? But we haven't gotten the role too much, which is reasonable.
Yeah, I think I was just so lost. I only saw Sniper and I was already playing Conqueror. So I was like, oh, Sniper mode. And then I realized I have no items. And
yeah, more is, yeah, you just have to consider a bunch of other stuff besides just the. I mean, Sniper mode is not bad, but you would need a lot more.
So now I got Nasher on board. But still,
yeah. I mean, I feel like you could still make it work if things fall into place. Yeah, there's a Camille, TF, but like I think what you're buying is fine as well. Echo could maybe make the board.
I'm just bleeding HP trying to like figure out what I'm even trying to do.
Yeah, I think that's the. Yeah, I think it's a lot easier to just. I feel like playing a non-standard board when you're low in HP is kind of hard. Low in HP / behind tempo. Like it looks like what you're trying to go towards is like a very non-standard board, and that's fine. And I applaud your effort, but it's just as you're saying, you bleed so much HP. I feel like you can either go towards like what you believe is the optimal board, but if you lose a bunch of HP to get there, it won't really work out. Or you can go towards a board that will not dizzy you, that may not be optimal, but that to me is what Enforcer spells here. Like maybe someone could think of a board that's better, but for me, Enforcer is so easy to play, so easy to click. I know it's strong. It may not be the strongest board, but hey, I'm not gonna. I'll bleed out a lot less HP than otherwise. I could also miss the Enforcer units, and that would suck. But you're likely to hit them. But yeah, that's sort of I don't think it's unexpected that we tried to cook some board here and we lose a bunch of rounds because everyone else in this lobby that it's not playing Trade Tracker is playing some cookie cutter board, like almost certainly, right? So they're all gonna beat you in terms of they're not lost.
Yeah. I was like, is there any other emblem I want?
There's another way to lose like 40 seconds. You need like the 70. Right now, I'm looking at this timer on the top. I'm like, this is perfect. You just click. You just click whatever works, and then we have 70 seconds to like make every decision we need to make. But if we every second we use on an anomaly here is gonna be even less time to roll.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure
we have 40 gold. We have a lot. We have like we need this time, and you have it right now.
Yeah.
I feel like anomaly here is basically a bait of you just click whatever.
Okay. I have a million traits.
This sounds insane. Yeah, this sounds super insane.
Mordekaiser, or I guess it'd be Vi if we were committed to the Enforcer line.
I don't mind it here. If you're committed to the sniper mord with Nash or the QSS or something, then yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
I mean that makes the board.
So I think I was just like, there's clearly diminishing returns on the freestyle, but I was like, oh, Mel, it doesn't contribute to that, so I didn't put her in.
No, why do you have to play Mel here, dude? No. Oh.
That's a clear mistake, yeah.
I mean, Mel is so insane. You just play it over like Echo probably, and over what? I can see what I can see why, because there are all these traits, right?
I couldn't figure out who to take out.
Over Swain for sure, right?
Over Swain, okay. You know, my GP is like dealing non-trivial damage. He's like, I don't even have that much damage on my board. Because when you go back to the discussion we've had before, right? I have way more than enough frontline, and I mean, I guess Mel deals damage too, right? But
isn't it Garen actually? You don't even have Watcher, right?
Oh yeah. I guess okay. Yeah. So Garen's one trait. Yeah. Okay.
Garen is most dead. Yeah, Garen is most dead here. And this gives you a ton of traits, but
most traits I've ever had active. Still didn't know what to do.
But to me, this looks almost stable. This current board, if you get 3 items on Mord, Radiant Nasher or probably Radiant Nasher, QSS, Mord, Amateur, some shitter.
And I have a duplicator now.
Yeah, I feel like you have win out potential here.
And so we're roll. I mean, I have 16 HP, so I basically need to roll on 8, right? And hope I high roll another Mord.
Yeah. Well, we're rolling for. I feel like most of your units are upgraded though. Your item holders are already upgraded.
So wait 1 round and
be rolling more gold if you rolled on. Let's see. If you sack 1 here, you have to get 6-0'd. Are we getting 6-0'd? I guess you could.
I have so little damage.
Do you know? I feel like with Sniper, Mord, and QSS and Nasher, and the Radiant item, I wouldn't think you die actually.
Okay,
but I could be wrong. I depend on matchup. I don't have that much time, but let's. So right now it's 68 to level. It'd be 64 next turn. We're rolling. Let's say you lose, +5 +3 +8 gold, +5 13 gold more, 76. You'd have 12 gold to roll. Yeah, you have to roll an 8. I'm just starting because you multiply your gold by 3 with respect to 5 costs by going to 9. But yeah, you have to roll an 8 here.
The other thing is, I guess if I go to 9, then I can get the Mel in.
Yeah, the thing is, the Mel is not going to cast. You could also just play around this Mel, which it might be stronger than Mord. But the thing is, selling the Mord is kind of hard.
Yeah, he has my anomaly, right?
Oh, he has the anomaly. Yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah. So just roll.
Oh, and then what else am I rolling for besides Mord?
It's just upgrades and high roll Mord. Okay. Just because, I mean, Mord 2 is the only thing that saves this game, right? And so it has to be. I think order operations here, you have to make sure you get 3 items in Mord, and you have to make sure you use the Master Work upgrade. Every time I get this, I feel like I've been better now at making sure you have to use it. You don't use this, you lost the game.
Yeah.
You lose life for free. So for me, that's always first. Assuming that you're not trying to switch units that you're playing around, which if you are, then maybe sometimes you save it. But here, you know for sure it's moored.
Yeah. If I didn't have Lord Anomaly, then Radiant Nashers on Mel would be pretty good, right? Oh,
Probably good as well. Yeah, I would
would
say though, you're
she
kind
be?
of lower cap if you sell the moored, just because you're more likely to 2-star more than you are 2-star Mel.
Yeah. Can Mel with if I somehow pull a blue buff out of this anvil, I don't know how many. What's like the most times you've seen Mel cast in a single fight, like to give you the extra life?
Usually, in my mind, with good items, it's like 3 turns, is what I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. With like blue buff, Nasher, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, which actually I should have been thinking about that too. I was thinking like, oh, Mel doesn't give me more damage, but if I had put in the Mel earlier, I probably would have had an extra life.
Yeah. Yeah, just over literally anything here. I mean, yeah, you sack 2 traits, but like 9 damage amp. I'm pretty sure Mel does more damage herself than 9% damage amp on moored.
Okay. And itemless Mel can get the full stacks in 3 turns.
It'll help, and also it just does a lot herself. Like,
Yeah.
she even with like, I guess she'd be itemless, but like not really. You could just put the moored items on her in the interim. I don't know. I think Mel's pretty good to have on the board in most scenarios when you're having a bunch of 1-stars on the board like this. Especially because I would never have ambushed the moored, and like moored 2 ambusher is just not an item, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, and so then it would have been easy to drop the echo here.
Okay. And on if I am doing a roll down here, I'm looking for Vi2, basically Vi2, right? Like, and then I would move the GP items over to Vi.
Potentially. I'm already thinking maybe you have 2 anvils. There's so much to do. This turn is kind of hard, but
Yeah.
the thing is, IE and the other thing I feel like are better on a backliner, which GP is better at being a backliner than Vi. Also, you have so much frontline that I feel like I value having a backline, and so I almost want to TG this Vi with the 2 gloves.
Oh, yeah, that's
But then this QSS is a lot harder to make. I mean, you won't be able to make it basically, and then you also have an open item on the rel. Not as important, but.
So what would your order of operations be? First thing is figure out whether to level or not. Whether to roll or level.
Yeah, I think it's definitely roll. You think you assessed that quicker than I did. I would have burned some time, hopefully not that long, but I would have then probably just settled on Radiant Asher and then roll.
Okay.
Also Radiant TG technically, but I
also Radiant what?
Radiant TG. But I feel like the spot I'm thinking of went out, and so I'm just thinking of more. And I have the dupe. I'm just thinking of 2-star moored. Yeah, Radiant TG could also be really good, right? You 2-star the Vi, you Radiant TG.
Right. Okay, so first step, figure out roller level, and then assuming I'm rolling, I'm looking to upgrade the Vi, but I could also find a Corki as a replacement for the GP, right?
True. You don't have artillerist, but
I could take out the Swain. Basically, Swain and the GP would basically go together, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'd be looking for Corki and like Tristana or something.
I don't think what else could improve.
Or Caitlyn or Jinx. Actually, Jinx.
Yeah, I think Corki Trist over. It's just Corki Trist over those 2. I guess you could also have Caitlyn for like who cares about Firelight really? Not that important. Jinx, yeah, but not really though. You don't really have items for Jinx.
Right. So then would you pop? Okay, so first it's roll or level. Figure out answer is roll. Then do we pop Anvil first? Because if we see a Shojin, then that actually makes Jinx viable.
I think, assuming infinite time, you would roll first, click on all the possible units, and then pop Anvil, and then decide. But I'm thinking more practically here. Like, it's so easy to not make this Radiant item. But at the same time, I probably roll until there are like 15 seconds left, I think, first. And then... Okay. And then I would assume if I don't find any like crazy scenario, like a another 6 cost, another 5 cost that I just play around the board I currently have. I probably do the Masterwork upgrade then to make sure I do it, and then finish rolling. Do some item removals, and then pop the anvils last second. That's what I would think, because I don't think there's enough time to pop anvils first and then roll. I would definitely say popping anvils for very last, because there's so much to do.
Okay. Oh, that was the other option. I could level right now.
Oh, but then you're dead. I think then it's over.
Yeah, because
then you're basically praying for like a super high roll on board. Oh
yeah. Okay. This is the worst option.
Yeah. I don't even think you make the blitz here if you do this. You sell the blitz, you roll once.
Okay. All right. That's just GG. All right. I like how in VOD review I was like, oh, I should roll. I totally even forgot what I did.
I mean, to be fair, like I was also out loud saying like should we roll or not, but I wasn't considering leveling there. I would like level the next turn. But I would also like ideally you would scout your matchup and am I gonna die here at 16 HP, which is
right.
Also more time spent. So like it's very challenging in that regard.
Okay. But why did I do that? Oh, because I saw I was 2 more traits with Zoe.
Oh no. Oh no.
I think I had like 80% damage amp or something.
Holy, I mean, if you hit this more too, you win, but yeah. Remove that. Okay, you did. Nice. Okay. We're back. We're dead. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Blue buff. Oh, you don't have Mel on the board.
Oh yeah, blue buff. This I should have popped first.
Oh, we're alive. It's fine. 180.
That guy's holding my board. Why am I not rolling? Okay.
Oh, I would start selling off random stuff on the board. Probably.
Oh.
Like.
Okay.
Unless you think 5, I would just start selling. Like I would consider selling. Like the thing is, because you believe so much about this this damage amp, then you're gonna be not willing to sell stuff. But definitely sell the LeBlanc roll twice. I'm surprised you didn't sell the LeBlanc and roll.
Yeah. I think I do this a lot. I'm just like, I find a LeBlanc I could duplicate it, but I also don't have items for her either.
Oh no way. The way you come back from this game is it's only Mord. You just have to recognize like what are your comeback mechanics in this game. It's literally only Mord.
Yeah.
Or a 2-star 6 cost. Those are the two like fathomable things. 2-star 6 cost is a lot harder, but I mean it's like yeah, it would actually obviously bring you back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then after I sell LeBlanc and let's say I don't hit, then order of operations is Zoe and then Echo.
Yeah, I probably sell the Zoe and then I'm pretty sure if you sell the Echo, you have like no units left on the board. Yeah, the other thing is like if there's a chance you win with this board, then maybe you don't want to sell, right? It's another like checking matchups thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I actually scouted, I don't think so.
Ghost fight. This guy. Oh, this guy has a 3-item Mel. This looks like we are. What is his thing? Quick Striker. I think we're dead. Yeah. Sag.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so, trade tracker is really hard to play around. But yeah, if you could just like, I think being more intentional about like what each emblem represents, as opposed to, I think hyper tunneling on a 5 cost when you have a dupe is fine, but when you have no dupe, which you didn't have initially, I don't think hyper tunneling on Sniper Mord is worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right here, Yeah, so the biggest mistake is just identifying the emblem line to take.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it is challenging though because you don't have any Maddies or Steps. You're basically never two starring those. But at the same time, like, I feel like if you incrementally work towards Enforcer and maybe you don't end up on truly on 8 Enforcer, like it'll just make your spot. I feel like you'll end up with a higher cap board. But then again, like the fact you got freestyling made it sort of justified your play, but then at the end it kind of didn't because we didn't hit.
Yeah. Okay. So figuring out the emblem was the biggest mistake. I guess everything up until this point in the game seems okay.
Yeah, I like the way you played early game. Coronation is an obvious take. We got bad. I think iron drops were quite bad on 3-7. I'm trying to think what else. 3-2. Could you remind me again what the third augment option was? I recall thinking that there was a chance we take the third augment option over a trait tracker. 3-2. Betrayal. Yeah. The thing is, like this shop glitch is just -1 augment choices, so which is really awful. I forget what you saw after that. Sated
Glass
Spellweaver is it was glass cannon. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's trade tracker. I feel like it is trade tracker. I mean, glass cannon is good, but like trade tracker just from this spot, I feel like can give you the chance to play for win out.
And in the worst case, even if I didn't identify Enforcer line, if I had even just held the scraps, I probably would have finished higher than a 7th, right? If I just played towards scrap without caring about any emblem synergy, that
Is that true? Did we even find any Corkies? I feel like you didn't find any Corkies.
Oh, that's true.
I feel like you found literally 0 Corkies.
How much shield value is that? It's what? How many emblems is it?
Worth? It's probably like 1,000 would be my guess. I mean, it's a lot of shield, but like if we have no backliner, you have no backliner.
Hmm.
Assuming you get the same shops, right?
Right.
Mm.
Well, I would have rolled at level 8 instead of trying to push 9 like an idiot. So I probably would have found a Corki at some point.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you probably could have.
Because like, in the worst case, if I play Trait Tracker again and I can't identify a reliable line, then just play scrap and hopefully I should get top 6 at least or top 5.
Yeah.
Because you just get so much shield value.
Yeah. One thing I will say, which I'm realizing as well, is that when you have like your AD items like this, so you can only play one of 2 lines, right? You can only play. It's either they're like 3-ish. It's like a Corki line, a Twitch line, and if you're super high rolling, like a Jace line. That's basically it, right? Maybe a Jinx line, but like that's more specific. That's like Shojin, and you want all the rebels usually. I think Trade Tracker becomes less appealing when you see the lobby is 10-way contesting all those lines. Because like no matter what, like if you drop those emblems, it doesn't matter. You can't even play those. Which is kind of what happened. We dropped like an experiment sniper, and it would be so good with Twitch. You're just like one rod off, and then the whole lobby's Twitch, and you can't even play it.
Although that's kind of true regardless of whether I get Trade Tracker or not, right? Like I'm kind of forced down one of those paths anyway because I have IE. If anything, it could create a higher floor with just like the scrap line if I am playing towards Corki anyway.
If you truly saw that the whole lobby was, let's say there's 7 players, it's 4 Corki players, 3 Twitch players, you have to insta-click Betrayal here, and you win. You're so far ahead of the lobby, right? Everyone's going to be stuck on 1 star, and you're the only one playing some weird line. If you knew for a fact that if literally it was 3-way Corki, 3-way, 4-way Twitch, right? The other, you would always click Betrayal.
So if I'm playing Betrayal, it's Either Enforcer or Conqueror, depending on like if I'm able to keep streak going.
Yeah, I would. I've seen people literally just Maddie and Caitlyn eventually, and just stick with without Enforcer Crest though. I think you have to pivot gradually into Enforcer. I think what I've seen is like you have Conqueror Spat, you put it on the Maddie 3, and then you can fit the Maddie into that line. You just play Kate. Maybe you can play like more Enforcers, but I'm pretty sure you would just gradually pivot into 6 Enforcer.
Mm.
But I just think, like, I'm just saying theoretically, if there are enough people contesting each other, the logic is not just, oh, I'm hard stuck playing these lines only. You can always still play these other fringe lines, right?
Right.